AFC West Dream Team here from FF Wyggzz. Let's get right on into the video. Start things on off here. We are going to be taking Patrick Mahomes as our quarterback. I think this just goes without saying at this point. He is going to be the best quarterback in history, in my opinion. The dude's just an absolute unit. He always finds a way to get things done. Like you look at last year, no one would have thought Rashee Rice would have had the year he had, or that the Chiefs would have won the Super Bowl because they really just didn't have much of a receiving core and players stepped up. You had Travis Kelce obviously doing his thing, but Rashee Rice in the second half of the season stepped it up quite a bit, and he finished with over 1,000 yards as a rookie. No one was going to expect that out of him. Like it was not the most looked at thing here on the team, and it just goes to show you kind of how Patrick Mahomes is. He finds the weapons he needs to find. He gets the ball to the players he needs to, and it just works out. But Checo, Rice, Kelsey, yeah, Scantling, I believe, and a few others there as well. He just knows what to do with the ball. Like, that's all I can say. Like the dude is just an absolute beast. He went from Tyreek Hill to really not having that much of a receiving core, and he just gets it done year after year, and it is super impressive to see because the dude's a beast, and I just don't think you can go against taking Patrick Mahomes in this division. Like he's gonna get it done again this year too. He's gonna have a winning record. He's probably gonna make a decently good playoff run, if not win it again. He's got weapons this year. He's got Rice probably after 6 weeks. I'm sure there's a suspension of some sort coming in for Rice. And then you also have Marquise Brown coming in, Xavier Worthy. You have quite a few weapons coming around. Like, yes, Worthy's a rookie, but like if Rice did what he did last year, like Worthy can do the same thing. And then you have Hollywood Brown as well. Like the dude's a beast. He just really hasn't done much. He was with Lamar at one point, but Lamar's kind of hit or miss with his receivers. But I think this year could be a really, really good year for Brown, and I think the Chiefs are going to be a tough team to beat again. And I'm not even a Chiefs fan. It's just realistically that's what's going to happen. So to move on there from Patrick Mahomes, we do have Isaiah Pacheco. This guy showed he can play at a high level over the last few years, and last year just showed it. He ran the ball and caught the ball for well over 1,000 yards. He had 900 and some odd rushing yards, and then he had over 300 yards of receiving as well. So the dude's an absolute unit. He does whatever is needed to be done on the team, from catching the ball from Mahomes to running the ball, and he's just super talented. And now he's got less competition as well. Doesn't have Jerick McKinnon in that backfield. He has Clyde Edwards-Helaire, so it's gonna be looking good here for him this year from a fantasy perspective. Now, this one might be a little bit of a hot take this early on, but Zamir White might be that guy here at running back too. I think he's going to have a pretty outstanding year. He's going to be taking, I'd say, a workhorse load because Madison was not really looked at that well last year, and I don't think they're going to utilize Madison as much as they utilized White with Josh Jacobs. So I think we end up seeing a workhorse load here from White. When I say that, a good 70% of the reps I think he'll be in on, from running the ball to catching the ball on third down, because he can do both. He's shown he can catch the ball quite a bit and he can run the ball really well as well. So I think he will end up being the second best running back here in this division this year, and that could be a hot take for a few, but that's just kind of my opinion, and I am sticking to that. I just have a gut feeling about that. My wide receiver one is going to be Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, I mean, is a beast. I don't think it matters who your quarterback is. It's just like Justin Jefferson. Like as long as your quarterback can throw the ball in a spot you can get it, that's all you really need. It doesn't even have to be the best throw in the world. And Adams is that guy. So it doesn't matter if it's O'Connell starting or Minshew. If Minshew's starting, I think Adams is going to have a phenomenal year. Him and Myers both, I think, will have great years. If it's O'Connell, then it's like, okay, like he's gonna have a good year. It's just not gonna be like that standout like year that he would have with Aaron Rodgers type deal. But I think Minshew could have a standout year like that with Adams, because Minshew was doing it with Pittman last year. And to me, I think going into a Raiders offense is better than going into an Indianapolis offense. So I think if Minshew's the starter, I think things could be really well there for Adams and Myers both. Rashee Rice would be my wide receiver too. I'm basing this off a full year, so I'm not including the 6 weeks. He's 6+ weeks he'll be suspended most likely, but I think he showcased his talent last year, and I think that's all I really need to say about him there, because he is a really talented wide receiver. He just needs to get his head in the game and not be an idiot outside of football. It's really that simple. NFL guys, just don't be stupid. Please, like use your brains. You're getting paid a ton of money. Like Why are you risking that over the most petty and stupid things? Like, don't take your car and be an idiot. Like, it's that simple. I'm sorry, not to go on to that topic, but just don't be an idiot. Like, be smart. You're making a lot of money. If you want to be an idiot, do it when you're done with football. Like, because then no one's paying attention to you. Like, just you're risking your career at that point to be stupid. So just don't be stupid, because you are a wide receiver too in this division in my eyes. Just use your brain. That's all I gotta say. I had to go on a rant about that. There's nothing more about Rashee Rice. He had a great year, over 1,000 yards. Good stuff. Jacoby Myers is going to be the guy I'd look at for the number 2 spot here on the team. I'm just going to move that photo over a little bit there for you guys as well. But I think he's going to have a pretty solid year this year. Probably going for like 900 or 1,000 plus yards if Minshew's starting. I don't know how it'll go with O'Connell, but I think you kind of have to take Myers here at your wide receiver 3. He's shown that he can play, and he kind of goes under the radar, which I like personally, because those under the radar wide receivers have more to show and more to prove. So they try just a little bit harder, and you could tell in the first half of the year last year that Myers was really busting his back to get the ball, and it kind of dwindled off towards the end of the year. I don't think that's necessarily on him. I think it was just quarterback play, in my opinion, but he showcased that he could play, and he is easily a top 3 guy in my eyes in this division. Travis Kelce, I don't know if I really need to say much more about that. He is probably the top tight end here in this division. You can make an argument for Brock Bowers, but I just think there's a lot of weapons there on that Raiders offense, so it's kind of hard for me to. Oh, I mean, I guess I can't say that because they do have 3 Chiefs, so I don't know. It can go either way. I think Travis Kelce will still have the better year, and dang, I just realized my whole starting crew is Raiders and Chiefs. That is interesting to see. I don't have anyone from the Broncos. I don't have anyone from the Chargers starting on this team, so that is very intriguing. I think the only one to maybe consider, maybe Lad McConkey at wide receiver 3 or Joshua Palmer, or maybe like, I don't know, Gus Edwards is the running back too. But to me, this is what I'd go with here for my like starting crew. But Travis Kelce, a beast. I don't need to say much more than that. He's been like a top 5 tight end every single year in the league, so that's all that needs to be said. Justin Herbert would be my backup quarterback. I still have faith in Herbert. I'm a big fan of Herbert. I like the way he plays. I think he's just going to have it rough this year with an offense that kind of, I don't know, is looking grim. You get rid of your top 2 wide receivers. I understand getting rid of Mike Williams. That dude is always injury prone. I don't think he's went a full season without being injured. But getting rid of Keenan Allen to me was a massive mistake. I think you pay the guy because, like, dude, why are you getting rid of your whole receiving core now? And no offense to his receiving core, now you're stuck with Joshua Palmer, Quinston Johnson, who did nothing last year and was so hyped up and did nothing. And then you do have a rookie in Ladd, who I think will probably be the second best guy on the team. I think Palmer will be the top guy, but what else did you really do? You got Brendan Rice as well. Like, you have a really young receiving core, and like, if anything, you got to take notes off the Packers a few years ago with Aaron Rodgers. He had a young receiving core coming in, and it was Rodgers' probably worst year ever because he just had, a young Watson, a young Lazard. Like, he had a bunch of young guys that were just dropping key passes or not picking up the right blocks or just not running the routes that efficient. Like, I don't know. I think Herbert kind of got the bad end of the stick here because he really didn't have a choice. They signed him to an extension, and I think they, after that, traded away Keenan Allen when he could have probably been traded himself, and the Chargers could have drafted a quarterback. In my opinion, the Chargers should have went the route of let's trade Herbert to someone like the Vikings, and not just because I'm a Vikings fan, but it made sense at the time because they could have gotten 2 first-round picks in the same draft, picked up a quarterback, picked up their lineman, still picked up a receiver. Like, if you're gonna trade away Keenan Allen, you gotta do that with Herbert. Like, you can't just stick him in this offense. He's not gonna succeed this year. He's gonna be like a top 20 guy, if that, this year. And it's gonna be sad to see because the dude's a beast and kind of just got stuck in a bad position. And then from a running back perspective, yeah, you got Gus Edwards, you have J.K. Dobbins, but both those guys are super injury prone, especially J.K. Dobbins. I don't think he's gone a single year without being injured. But Gus Edwards also gets injured as well. So what are you gonna do after that? Like, you sign those guys, you're gonna obviously run the ball quite a bit this year with their new coach and Harbaugh. Like, what are you gonna do when your running backs don't produce and like get injured? So I don't know. It doesn't add up to me. I think their offseason moves were terrible in my opinion, but we'll see how the year plays on out. Aside from that, we're gonna be taking Hollywood Brown. Um, I'm just not 100% sure how much he'll be used yet, but I think Mahomes will utilize him quite a bit. I could even see him being the top guy on this offense. Time will only tell because he was with Lamar, and you'd think he'd have like outstanding years, and outside of 1 year, he really didn't. His only upside is he's a touchdown machine, so maybe the touchdowns, like from a fantasy perspective, help him out, and maybe he gets a ton of yards, but I'm not 100% sure because we haven't seen the like teams out on the field yet. So this is just me playing it safe, having him on my bench rather than in my starting lineup. And from there, I'm going to be taking Joshua Palmer. This might be a hot take, but it was either him or Brock Bowers, and for me, I'd go receiver heavy in this situation. Nothing against Bowers, but I think Joshua Palmer could have over 1,000 yards this year with quite a few touchdowns as well, because that dude is just nuts down the field. And Herbert's got to throw to someone. And when Keenan Allen and Mike Williams were out last year, who was that guy? Joshua Palmer. So I think he'll end up being the guy again with McConkey right behind him. But for me, it was either taking Palmer, Bowers, like I said, and actually McConkey would have been the last one. But that's going to wrap it on up here for this video. I appreciate you guys for stopping on by. If you want to check us out on X, TikTok, or Instagram, Fantasy Pools PPR. If you want to watch our YouTube short here on the channel, that'll be dropping here as well in about 30 minutes for you guys. If there's any video recommendations you'd like to see in the future, let us know. Like I said, in a few days here, we're going to be dropping our first mock draft, so be ready for that. If you guys want to catch the streams as well when we do those, turn on the notification bell so you can get those notifications. We plan on doing it at least once a week leading up to the season, so be prepared because we might even do it twice a week. You guys can get a lot of intel. So that's going to wrap things on up, though. I appreciate you guys. Make sure to subscribe to stay notified, and we'll see you guys next time.